Shall I go check what's on our YouTube page?
Right. Okay, we got 5 people here. I'm going to make you co-host. Putting my lights on. And can you let people in, including the Loom note taker, so I can
Yeah.
record as well? Hey, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much for joining us. Fantastic. We are streaming this, just FYI, to, or at least trying to stream it to YouTube and to LinkedIn Live. We will know later if it's working or not. Oh, thank you. I love them obviously too. So
Hey,
thank you.
welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Perfect. Awesome. Hey, thanks so much everyone for joining us. Let's get started right off. Hello. I'm going to share my screen, ask you that ubiquitous question that all of us say, can you see my screen? Give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. Those of you on video, please. Oh, beautiful. Okay, you can see my screen. Awesome. All right, lots of ground to cover. Too little time. We promised to do all of this in 30 minutes or less. So we're going to kick up the pace. We're going to show you a whole bunch of things, and at the risk of sounding presumptuous, a lot of it will be absolutely magical. So quick introduction. My name is Laks Narayan. I'm a co-founder and CEO here at Stream Alive. Thank you so much for joining us for this demo of something we are extremely proud about, which is the ability for Stream Alive to join a meeting for PowerPoint slides to literally be authored by the audience in real time. So usually I get these things started before the session starts, but then I had a lot of feedback from people saying, hey, we'd love to know what exactly is cooking. What exactly are you doing as these things go on? So breaking the cardinal rule of preparation, actually going to do it over here. So we're building in public. Some of these things are still in beta. So thank you for joining us and experimenting with us. What I've got here in front of you on my screen is a PowerPoint deck that I want to take you through. And it looks like any PowerPoint deck. But at this point, I want to point out a couple of things. First, there are more than 16 slides. Don't worry, I'm only going to take you through the first 16 slides and very, 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 very fast. All the even number slides, slide number 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16 are standard vanilla PowerPoint slides. Right? They are the kind of slides you're used to seeing in PowerPoint, slides where you go talk, 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 talk. Slides 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, and 15, these 8 slides are what we call listening slides. They are Stream Alive slides embedded inside of PowerPoint. So those slides will be written by you in real time based on what you type in the Zoom chat. Some of them might break, some of them might work beautifully. We'll find out in a bit. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move this into film strip view so you can see those same slides that I showed you a little while back. And here's what's going to happen. Like, this is my first slide where I'm going to be asking you all where you're joining from. And not yet, but when I ask you that, your answers will populate my slide. And if you want to see a preview, this is kind of what it's going to look like. As you type answers in the chat, it's going to show up on my slide in real time and put little dots identifying you based on your city or your country or your stated city or country. Or feel free to pretend to be anywhere in the world or where you like to be as well. We don't look for factual accuracy, right? And for example, I have a slide over here where I'm going to ask you a question on how familiar you are with Stream Alive. And as you type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's going to populate a poll in my PowerPoint slide in real time. And we're going to do this all together. So let's go back to slide 1. Heads up, our map interaction inside of PowerPoint has a small bug where it sometimes puts a dot in the right place and the wrong place. It's a known bug. And again, in the spirit of building and sharing in public, I'm going to show it to you with what's and all. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell Stream Alive right now where it needs to read the chat, which is this Zoom session that all of you joined. And all I need to do to make that happen is to say, hey, go to Zoom and this is the link I'd like you to go to. I can call this anything I want. I can just say Zoom session on October 7th, demo on PPT. I can do anything I want really over here. And I'm going to add this session. So now Streamer Live is ready, and it's kind of shaking that box, that red box over here, just kind of telling me, hey Lux, I'm ready to read this chat. Just tell me when you are. And I say, yep, let's start reading responses. At this point, we are all going to be joined by my bot. I call my bot the Lux bot, and fingers crossed, it should be joining. There it is. The Lux bot has joined the meeting, and the Lux bot has only one job: read the chat and send it back to Streamer Live servers. Send it into my PowerPoint slide so that all of you can see my PowerPoint slide in real time. So please humor me and type in the chat as to where you're joining from. Oh, beautiful! Oh, you folks are amazing. Right. And this is what I mentioned by the dot is not exactly on Montreal. So Stephen, please don't hold that against us. We got two dots for you, one for where you actually are and one which is slightly next to it. Known bug. We're going to sort it out. Like Peter is here in the UK, but it's showing him somewhere in the middle of the ocean, which is probably where he wants to be, but we shall not comment on that. Peter is in Reading, where it's 12.5 degrees centigrade. I'm here in the States. That's 54 Fahrenheit, and it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon for Peter. The world is not flat, so I am going to make it a globe and literally fly around the world as we acknowledge all of you beautiful people. We got someone in, we got Jordan in Greece. And again, Jordan, that's you in Greece, but like I mentioned, that little bug puts you a little off. This should be ready and sorted out in a couple of days. My very talented team knows that this is something we need to do. I can move the map around, I can flip it around, I can have fun, I can play with it like a beach ball. Oh, we got someone in Shillong. Duncan, good to see you here. 17 degrees. Gosh, the whole world is cold. Okay. Who do we have in Tokyo? Tina, I know you're not in Tokyo, but hey, we're not judging. If you want to pretend to be in Tokyo, go for it, right? So beautiful, right? And over here, for the first time ever, a PowerPoint slide for the first time in its almost 40-year history is being authored by you in real time based on what you're typing in the Zoom chat. This is not a presentation, this is a conversation. I'm listening to you through the slide. How beautiful is that? Right. Now I can move to talking. I can tell you that Stream Alive is about unmuting the audience. By the way, that's what it says on my t-shirt, unmute the audience. We want to turn presentations into conversations. And hopefully you've seen a sample of what that looks like. Let me show you a few more things. I would love to know how familiar you are with Stream Alive. So if you've never seen it in action, before today, that is, of course, you've seen it in the last 5 minutes, but if you've never seen it before this, type the number 1. If you've seen it as an audience, never as a presenter, type the number 2. If you've used our web app and our Zoom app, type 3, 4. If you're beta testing our PowerPoint add-in, type the number 5. It just gives me a sense of who's in the room. I can tailor my talk depending on that. So, all right, we got a perfect split here. Okay, we got a few more people who've seen it as an audience, but not as a presenter. I feel like a horse racing commentator at this point who's literally saying, all right, we have number 2 on the lead. We have number 1. No, it's number 1. No, it's number 2. Is that where it is? Okay, so some of you have used the web application. Some have used the Zoom application. Beautiful. A few of you have never seen it in action, and it's my pleasure to show it to you for the first time ever. And an equal number of you have seen it as an audience, never as a presenter. And hopefully this presentation will convince you to jump to not the dark side, to the bright side, and actually use it as a presenter, right? So look at that again. This is a poll. Every one of us has, I'm willing to bet, participated in a poll or done a poll, but you've never seen a poll like this where the poll is written in the slide in real time. So remember again, my odd slides, 1, 3, 5, 7, everything are listening slides, Streamer Live slides. My even slides are static, good old PowerPoint slides, where I can tell you the PowerPoint launched 38 years ago, and ever since then, the world has been doing one-way presentations. And that's really what we want to change, right? I've been using the word PowerPoint a lot. I don't want to be presumptuous here, so please help me out here and tell me which of these you have used in the last 12 months. So if you've used PowerPoint and Keynote and Google Slides, just type 1, 2, 3. If it's just PowerPoint, type the number 1. If you've used Canva, you get the drift. Oh gosh, we got some total slide ninjas over here. I saw someone with 3 things mentioned out there. And again, I'm getting back to horse race commentator mode. PowerPoint on the lead, PowerPoint on the lead, Google Slides catching up, Figma, other, okay. Canva is going down, Figma is coming up, Gamma is ahead of Canva, and it's neck to neck with Google Slides, but PowerPoint is way up there in the lead, and the winner is PowerPoint. So most of us use PowerPoint. A lot of us use Gamma. I love Gamma, and if we have time, I will actually show you what we are going to do for Gamma as well. And again, if you have time, I want to be respectful of the fact we've got 30 minutes here today. And lots of PowerPoint, Streamer Lives add-in works with PowerPoint at this point. Next, we're going to build it out for Gamma. We don't plan to build it for Keynote because Keynote and does not have an app ecosystem like you do for PowerPoint. And I'll show you what I mean by the app ecosystem in a little bit. But let's go on. So, at this point, I've got a good sense of most of you use PowerPoint. A lot of you have not seen Streamer Live before. A lot of you use Gamma, so now I'm going to talk about the fact that, hey, yes, I love AI creating slides, beautiful slides, beautiful decks, great content. And yes, you have Gamma, you have PowerPoint and Copilot, but there's something missing. And before I tell you what I think is missing, I want to get your opinion on why, we already pulled that up. I want to get your opinion on what's bad with presentations, and I would run a word cloud for that. But my thing is most presentations are still one-way monologues, right? So I think I put the wrong slide there, by the way. I should have put word cloud over here, but I forgot that and I put a poll. Again, we're doing this in public, votes and all. And if I wanted to change this, I'll show you how I'm going to change it later. But most presentations are still one-way monologues. And presenters like I've been doing so far not been doing rather so far, go talk, 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 talk. And that's really what we want to change with Streamer Live, right? And by the way, I forgot to tell you folks this. If you have any questions, just put them in the chat and go ahead and try to put a random question now if you want. What happens here is Streamer Live automatically identifies questions from the chat and pulls them up and shows them in my slide. So as a presenter, I can keep jumping to Q&A. And Peter, Tina, if you can just put a question over there. Oh, beautiful. Okay, someone did. Does this work with Google Slides? So no, the Streamer Live is used by people in conjunction with Google Slides, but the add-in we're showing today works only with PowerPoint. And then we're going to do it for Gamma. Google Slides does not allow embeds like what you have here is like an iframe running inside of Google Slides, inside of PowerPoint, and Google Slides does not allow that. So that's me answering this question. Do you use AI personally? Yes, for this particular deck. No, but I'm going to show you how we can use Streamer Live's AI in a little bit. So I'm glad you asked that, Tina. Hold your horses. Too many horse metaphors here. Will there be an exam at the end of this? Usually, yes, Peter, not today, because we are revamping our quiz module. So I don't know if you're happy or disappointed, but no quiz today. Do you always need a presentation? Oh, beautiful question. To work with Streamer Live, you don't, not at all. And we are going to create a bunch of interactions with zero talking slides in just about 5 minutes time, all right? Will Keynote be adding the needed API? I don't think so, Stephen, unfortunately, because here's what, right? I'm just going to switch tracks here. If you look at Microsoft, it's got this whole ecosystem of thousands of apps. You've got Zoom with this whole ecosystem of thousands of apps. Keynote does not have a similar ecosystem. And they haven't made any announcements about doing anything similar. So it's just that they don't support an ecosystem of people building third-party applications to come inside of Keynote apps. So we'd love to. I use Keynote a lot, but unfortunately, that's the reason we can't do it. So now I'm going to change my thing to look for unanswered questions. Whoa, I wish my inbox was this clean. All right. Put your questions anytime in the chat. They're going to show up automatically. I have one more question slide I'll go to later to jump into it. But as you've seen, what we do is use AI. And Tina, you had a question on AI. We use AI to turn chat into real-time interactions. So a presenter can have a conversation. I've been listening to you more than talking, I think. By listening, I mean listening to what you've been saying in the chat, right? And visualizing that, which allows me to have a conversation at scale. And that's really the gist of what we do at Streamer Live. Oh, I moved the slide over here. Okay, sorry. In a word, I'd just like for you to answer this question. In a word, most presentations are unfortunately, and I want to use this as a segue to tell you a little bit of a story on why we founded Streamer Live. I have my eye on the clock. We're 15 minutes in. we should do a lot more things over here. So in a word, most presentations are, okay, that's more than a word, but we'll accept it, a Word document. Yes, please. Tedious, static, one way, all of it. Keep those comments coming. And what I wanted to show you here is a word cloud that is created on the fly based on what you folks are telling. And I can also have fun with this, by the way. So I could do something like, oh gosh, all of these are so many things. I want to capture all your responses in an image, right? Or I want to summarize your responses. So I could, for example, visualize your responses in real time. So this, Tina, to your question, since you asked about AI, is AI in the service of the human voice, visualizing what all the amazing people have said today? I have no clue what's going to come, but okay, it's pulling up something. I don't like it. I can change the image. I could also summarize everybody's responses and say, okay, people are saying there are engagement challenges, time management challenges, things. So it just gives me a broad sense of what all of you said about why presentations are broken. But I get to, we for too long we've lived with, hey, raise your hands if you agree. Here's a poll. Why can't we ask people open-ended questions and summarize their responses using AI in the service of the human voice in real time? That's kind of what we're doing over here. And the reason I believe personally it's important is very, very quickly. A few years ago, during the pandemic, I went through a book writing journey. It's not a children's book, but that was my pet project at that time. It's a book called Name, Place, Animal, Thing. And it's about giving better answers when people ask you, so what do you do, right? Giving answers that go beyond our jobs. And the reason I plug my book over here is because I didn't know anything about writing a book. You might read my book and say I still don't, besides the point. I attended about half a dozen different courses to learn how to write, edit, and market a book. And these were 6 courses delivered over 56 live sessions, mostly on Zoom, some on Facebook Live, some on YouTube Live. Class sizes from 11 to 1,200 people. And one of the 3 things that you see on the right-hand side would happen. The first, people would wait for the recording because there's no difference between the live experience and the recorded experience. And then they would watch it at 1.5 times the speed because, hey, there's no difference. Second, the presenter would ask questions like I did in the beginning. Hey, where's everybody joining from? Oh, fantastic. We got Peter in Reading, we got Tina in Tokyo, and sorry, everybody else, I'm going to ignore you. No one likes to be ignored, right? Or third, which in my opinion is the most self-sabotaging, is folks, I know you're all in front of your computers right now, but I want you to pull out your phones, scan this QR code, go to this website, and guess what? You're not getting people back. The best way to sabotage your own sessions is to send people here because good luck with trying to compete with the news, with TikTok, and the latest promotion or message they've got on their phones. Why would we self-sabotage our session when chat is right under people's noses and could be used because Google Meet, Zoom, Teams, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, guess what? They all have chat. So that became the founding idea behind Stream Live. And at this point, I'm just going to switch tracks and look to see if I'm actually, the whole book was based on a childhood game. So I know this question sounds very random at this point. I promise you it has a meaning. Can all of you share a hobby? A childhood hobby or a current hobby? Anything. I promise there is a reason for this. So humor me here and just share a hobby. We will not judge you on the basis of your hobbies. Astrophoto. Oh my God, Stephen, that's fantastic. Astrophotography. Wow. Beadwork, bird watching, motorcycling. If I were allowed a choice here, I would go with astrophotography. But I'm gonna do one thing. I'm gonna. This again is a feature we haven't fully built out for PowerPoint slides. But like I said, we're gonna test in public. So I'm gonna try and choose one of your responses at random. Let's see if it works. If it doesn't, it will work soon. So we're trying to create a winning wheel from everybody's responses. And nah, it doesn't work on this one. So I'm just going to pick one. I'm going to pick astrophotography. So, all right, let's go with astrophotography. And we'll come back to that in a second. But let me leave you with what we stand for. Stop one-way presentations, unmute the audience. And how do you unmute the audience when you have a large audience? More than, if you have less than 10 people, it's easy to ask people to speak. But when you have a double-digit number of people or a triple-digit or even more, you can do that by making the chat stream alive because all those platforms in the bottom, by the way, Stream Alive also works for in-person sessions. That's the only occasion where we recommend using a QR code, but otherwise, no, just use the chat and all of those beautiful platforms that we use day in and day out. Any more questions over here? Unanswered questions. If two students ask a similar question, will it come up once or twice? Oh gosh, I'm so glad you asked that. Earlier it would come up twice, then in the middle it would come up once, and now it comes up twice. Here's what I mean. We had a feature in the middle that we launched which collates similar questions and things together. We deprecated it for various reasons, but what it does is find out themes. So it knows that there are two questions on assessment, four questions on technology. So it would show the questions separately, but it would thematically cluster them so you could look at them as one cluster to answer them together, right? Peter, there's somebody in the waiting room. If you don't mind admitting them, please. Thank you. And what's the limit before this gets too noisy? This morning we had someone on YouTube run a physics lesson with about 682 people. So it's perfectly fine. I think the voice of the people gets captured. The maximum stream alive has been tested for is 45,000 people for a game show, which is an extreme example. But most of our typical use cases are in the double digits and a few in the triple digits. Yeah. Beautiful. So we said astrophotography, and I want to use that as an example to show you how Streamalive's AI can help you coming up with interesting interactions. So it's a lot of workflow. I'll let you play around with it. So the best way to get familiar with Streamalive is to go to streamalive.com, sign up for a free account, and take it for a spin. But let's take it for a spin right now for astrophotography. So we are saying we are doing a session on astrophotography, and we are doing it for vampire fantasy writers. Let's just make it simple. Let's say college students, okay? And we wanted, somebody had a question on, do you need a presentation? Absolutely not. You can run Stream Alive entirely to engage with an audience. So it's come up with a whole bunch of this, by the way, I've switched tracks to streamalive.com, and I'm showing you our web application at this point. So we have multiple ways you can consume Stream Alive. I wouldn't be able to go into all of them, but the most powerful one is our web application, which is now available as a PowerPoint add-in, for which you simply go to the Microsoft App Store, search for Stream Alive, and boom, it shows up. It is early days, it's beta, so please use it as you will, and please give us feedback. It's super, super helpful. We also have an app in the Zoom App Store. So if you use Zoom apps, you can just go to Zoom's 3000 applications, where Stream Alive is the #1 featured AI app. Stream Alive is the #1 featured employee engagement app. Stream Alive is the #1 featured app for education. And if you were to go here, click on this, you can install it. So our belief is anywhere people meet like Zoom, anywhere people present like PowerPoint, Stream Alive will be there. But the web application is where we have the maximum flexibility to do everything we want. So a lot of these things are also available in the other parts, but I want to show you how Streamalive would come up with an interactive session on astrophotography. So it's asking me beautiful questions. It's saying, why don't I ask people which city would you love to visit for stargazing? In a word, what draws you to astrophotography? In a sentence, what's the most challenging aspect of capturing deep sky objects for you? And at this point, I can just click on Get Ready to Present, connect this to Zoom, and boom, it's going to read this audience. This is not an audience who came here today for astrophotography, so I'm not going to do that right now. Instead, I'm going to use our AI to simulate the session and show you how beautiful the session on astrophotography can look with people participating in, let's open a simulated platform view just to show you what's happening. Again, I'm just showing my screen. I don't have any presentation screens. I don't have any slides on this. I'm just showing you, slides on, and I ask this question. People type in the Zoom chat. If they're on some other platform, if they're on Teams, they're typing in the Teams chat. If they're on YouTube, they type in the YouTube chat. You get the idea, right? And all that's happening is the presenter screen, my screen in the simulation, is coming to life with people's answers. I want to flip through this to show you how much is possible with chat. In a word, what draws you to astrophotography? People say mystery and stars and wonder and all kinds of beautiful responses. And I could, turn them into an image right now, have a lot of fun with this, riff with it, and actually, literally create something that is improvised in the moment and has never been created before, will never be created again, right? I could ask people in a sentence, what's the most challenging aspect here? And they give me nuanced answers. And I could click on summarize, and it would summarize all these beautiful responses. So polls, you saw this, other ways of visualizing open-ended things, giving the illusion of peeking from one brain to the other, spinning a wheel, choosing an emoji that represents, asking people to respond in emojis, asking them to give a score of 1 to 5, calculating a real-time average, having quizzes like Kahoot and having fun with that, with points and leaderboards on who wins, spinning a wheel, and automatically identifying questions, right? Um, so these are all different things that the different ways in which the AI works. And at this point, I've got a full deck. I could add my slides into this if I wanted, but you don't need to do that anymore because Stream Alive now works inside of PowerPoint. So you could just do that. And last thing I want to show you is at the end of a session, Stream Alive gives you a fantastic bunch of analytics. This is a session I did on Saturday. And you can see I had 48 people, 770 comments. The chat was on fire. I ran almost 20 interactions. I had a conversation with people. They answered all these different questions. It was a workshop around the theme of my book, and we had so much of fun, right? We actually played games, we did things, we had a ton of questions, people shared links, and at the end of it, Stream Alive generated all these beautiful images to remind me how amazingly gratifying this session was for me, and I'd like to think for everybody else as well. So a whole bunch of analytics at the end of a session. We're coming up to the end of our session, so I want to make sure I show you a couple of magical things that I've not shown you so far. I'm pretending I have this presentation on AI. Okay, so I'm pretending to be an AI trainer at this point. I've got a boring PowerPoint slide that talks about how AI, what is AI, and brief history, how it transforms your world. And I've got 40 slides that are guaranteed to make people sleep. And at this point, I want to make this interesting. So let's say I have, I want to make it engaging. And what I could do in that case is simply, I want to show you how this works. Add Stream Alive's add-in over here. And all you need to do is go to the Microsoft App Store and just get that in. It's going to add the add-in over here. You will need to resize it because unless you've got supervision with a space in between, you probably cannot read what it says on my screen right now. But I can kind of pull this up and I can tell Stream Alive, you know what, Stream Alive, I need some help here. Read the last 3 slides and give me a recommendation for an interaction over here. Right. So Stream Alive is reading my slides. It's going to recommend, and so it's read. I have a slide on practicing ethical AI use. I have a next slide after that. Right now, I'm running Stream Alive on 2 different presentations, so I'm kind of asking it to work more than it's being paid for. But let's see what it comes up with. It's reading those 3 slides, generating suggested interactions, and by the way, it can read my entire deck and recommend placements and everything too. I'll let you play around with that. And it says, hey, Lux, these are some good questions you could ask. And I could simply add these on to my presentation right now if I wanted, and I would have these as interactions in here. So I want to show you that the AI also works to help you with creating your own presentation, right? So I can keep going on and on, but really the best way to try Stream Alive out is to go and play around with it. Go to streamalive.com, sign up for a free account, and do a favor for your audience. I'm going to go back here and look at any other questions. We talked about this one. Is there a limit? No, you can. I mean, like I said, we got a lot. Any plans for getting some of the interactions used by Felipe? I mean, some and no, because I'm familiar with some of the work of Felipe, not a lot of it, but from what I've heard from some folks who've seen it, you require to use an OBS and other things, and you require to be perfectly tech savvy. Our focus on Stream Alive is to democratize conversations, make it interactive and easy for anyone to use on the platforms of their choice. So we want to work with what you already work in, and we don't want to have to require you to use something else because, I mean, sure, you can craft a whole bunch of things if you have a different toolkit, but our focus is on doing as much as possible within the world of Zoom, PowerPoint, Teams, and so on. Voice commands, oh yes, Peter, certainly coming up. So voice commands coming up very, very soon. And last thing I'll leave you with is, since we talked, someone asked about a couple of people on Gamma. Those of you who are Gamma fans, and I noticed quite a few on that, this was not a Gamma presentation, but we are planning to do similar things like what you saw, all those interactions coming within Gamma. So this is a demo of it, but imagine people looking at your Gamma, and as they type answers in the chat, imagine your Gamma slide coming to life, powered by Stream Alive, and that is the direction we're taking it. So again, anywhere people present, anywhere that people meet, we want to convert those into conversations and stop, monologues and have a lot more dialogues. Thank you so much for having joined us. I think there was one more question. Just, whoops. I'm just looking at the chat at this point. Maybe I should just go back to Streamer Live and make my job a little easier. So I'm going to go back to my slides. If anyone needs to drop out, will not feel offended. Please feel free to jump out if you need to. And just going to look here. Oh, I think I stopped it from this session. My apologies. I'm going to look at the chat instead. I just stopped Streamer Live. Type me and people's silhouettes start appearing on screen. Okay. So that's not something we have, but we do have a thing for our winning wheel where you could type me and it would add you automatically to the wheel. So that is already supported right now by the Streamer Live web application. Will be there in the PowerPoint thing very, very soon. So you could say, hey, if you want my book, if you want to be in the running reckoning for winning my book, just type book and your name will show up in the wheel. So that's something we already have within Streamer Live. Not the silhouettes thing because that requires a level of control that requires you to have third-party applications. Hopefully that answers the question. OBS and Ecamm. Oh, yes. In fact, there is someone using it in the Fit for Facilitation session that is happening in 29 minutes from now. Saeed Sadouk, who is an amazing presenter, is going to be using OBS and Streamer Live, I think, in about 29 minutes in the session. So just look out for Fit for Facilitation. And if you search for that, you should find Saeed's sessions coming up. And there are going to be about 200 people who've registered for that. And that's a classic example of OBS and Streamer Live. Mike McKenna and Neil Ferrimond are experts on Ecamm, so is Tatiana, and they use a lot of Ecamm and Streamer Live as well. You can follow their work, and maybe we can send some of those links as well in the post-show recording. But thank you so much for joining us. I hope those of you who haven't tried Streamer Live before, give it a try. And if you need help, you know how to find us. We're doing the same session every Thursday on Teams. So if that's how you swing, join us for a Teams session on Thursdays. And every Tuesday, we're going to be doing it on Zoom. And every week is different because I've never done astrophotography before, and I can't wait to see what we do next week. So do join us for future sessions. Thank you for being with us today, and look forward to hearing how you use Streamer Live. Take care, everyone. Thank you. I'm happy to stay back for a couple more minutes. If anyone had any questions, just raise your hands. We'll let you unmute yourself and literally unmute yourself and ask a question if there was one. So I can hang around for a bit if anyone had any other questions they wanted to ask. Saffron Prescott, please go ahead.
Hi, thank you. That was really helpful. I'm the Google person who has everything on Google. Is there any possibility that this is going to become Google friendly in the near-ish future?
So we do have an app for Google Slides. So by Google, I'm assuming you mean Google Meet and Google Slides. Is that correct?
No, I use Zoom
Oh, okay.
or we have special. Sorry, I'm a full-time tutor. So I'm on a variety of platforms, but the main ones would be Zoom and, well, it's Lesson Space at the moment, but it changes all the time when people discover new technical stuff. And I've tended to use Pear Deck up until now because it enables me to get the students to interact. Obviously, if I could use something that would just cover everything, that would make my life a lot easier. So does that answer your question in a very unshort way?
It does. Thank you. And just one last follow-up question on that. So Google Slides is where you create your presentations?
Google Slides, yeah, I create them all there.
Okay. So I use Google Slides as well, and the workaround for Google Slides that I do is I create my slides on Google Slides, and then I export my slides into a PDF document.
Yeah.
So, and then I could import that PDF in here. So if I had, for example, I'm just going to pretend that this is a slide on astrophotography. I could bring that in over here, and my Streamer Live presentation now has my talking slides and my listening slides, and I could present everything from Streamer Live. So this is a workaround, where you could bring your slides into Streamalive. Another
I'd
workaround
have to
is
I'd have to use PowerPoint, wouldn't I? So I'd have to download every presentation and then add Streamalive into it and then re-upload it. That be correct? Or am I
not
wrong?
necessarily. You just take your existing Google slide,
Yeah.
export it into a PDF, and import
Okay.
that PDF into Streamalive's web application. So Streamalive works independent of PowerPoint. The
Yeah.
PowerPoint that we're showing today is just an option in terms of running it inside of PowerPoint. But
Yeah.
you don't need a PowerPoint license or to ever touch PowerPoint if you want to use Streamalive. You could use it off the web application, which is just like Google Slides. It's like a browser-based slide
Yeah.
presentation tool where you can import your static slides. So in that case, you wouldn't touch PowerPoint
Okay.
at all.
Oh, okay, that's great. So I need to go to Streamalive's website to
So
find
you
that. Is that right?
yeah, you just go to streamalive.com, you would sign up for a free account, and it would get you started with a presentation and a Jiffy, and
Yeah.
then you could import any PDF or image into that presentation to do exactly what we just discussed.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. That's really, really helpful.
My pleasure. And last thing, if you need help and you get stuck with something, the little blurb here should send you to help
Yeah.
documentation. If that doesn't solve it, we're always here to help.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, and thank you for the presentation. It's really
Thank
helpful.
you. My pleasure. Thank you so
I'm
much.
logging off now. Bye.
Super. Jordan, did you have any questions? If not, we will stop the session. Otherwise, all right. And perfect. I'm going to stop the recording.